I found the CQR anchor to be the best overall anchor for these waters, holding well in the river and glacial silt that are common, and penetrating kelp fairly well. They don't work too well, however, in rocky conditions. Mahina Tiari's primary anchor is a 60-pound CQR with a 35-pound for a second bow anchor on 240 feet of chain. Have a powerful electric with manual backup windlass, and for Chile I added 600 feet of floating polypropylene line. The best situation in Chile is to back up as close as possible to the shore so that the wind will pass over the boat where it then hits the middle of the bay. You want to look for greenery ashore, trees or bushes, and if possible anchor directly out from a freshwater stream where there'll be silt instead of rocks on the bottom. The ideal anchorage is shown here with 2 bow anchors out and several lines ashore. You see the freshwater stream astern has kept the kelp from growing in the center of the bay. Kelp is very, very difficult to get the anchor to hold in. That's why we developed the following procedure. After motoring into a bay, we would drop the main anchor with a substantial amount of chain, launch the dinghy, and then take the stern lines from shore, tied to trees or rocks, and bring them to the boat. This worked a lot better than bringing the stern lines from the boat to shore. Then we would drop a second bow anchor from the dinghy after we had all the stern lines ashore evened out. Here you can see the wind gusting from several different directions. That's the difficulty with anchoring in the middle of the bay like you would normally do. With the stern lines ashore, you keep the boat away from the center of the bay, which is the windiest area. And by anchoring close to a stream, you avoid the kelp and also get a sandy bottom instead of rocky bottom. You can see 2 of the 4 lines ashore here to trees. We've tied a large bight around the trees so that when we want to leave the next morning, it's easy to undo them without having to climb up into the bushes. This procedure sounds easy, but it actually takes about an hour both arriving and an hour when you're getting ready to depart the next morning to get all the anchors and lines stowed and taken care of. The floating polypropylene line is good because it has less of a chance of getting caught in the propeller, but it's difficult to handle. It tends to kink up, so we found the best way to stow it is to coil it on deck, tie the coil with light nylon line, and then slip the coil into a sail bag so it's all ready to go the next time. Sail inventory in Patagonia is a lot different than sailing in tropical trade wind conditions. I took the cruising spinnaker home and stored it and brought back an 85% heavy weather jib, which we use the majority of the time. I also replaced the 9-year-old mainsail, added a new storm jib, and added reefing lines to the mizzen. The key to successful sail handling in these waters is to have the ability to reduce sail area quickly. We have lazy jacks on the main, and we can go from full sail that you see here to just a storm jib in about 2 minutes. The nearest sailmaker is in Valdivia, over 1,200 miles north, so you really need to be able to effect repairs on your sails without outside help. We had several dramatic days of sailing down the Beagle Canal. To the north of us were the dramatic tidewater glaciers of Tierra del Fuego, and to the south of us were the snow-capped islands north of Cape Horn Island. Okay, today is the 14th, so we're Ferrari here in Yendagaya. We're only about 5 miles from Argentina here. Tomorrow we have about 40 miles sail, and if we have winds like we had today, it's going to be pretty fast with another 35 or 40 knots behind us out of the west. We passed Puerto Navarino. Originally we were planning on stopping for the past
for
6 years I've operated Mahina Tiari as a sail training vessel, with crews signing on to join me for 2 to 4 week expeditions to learn and practice navigation, boat and sail handling, and shipboard procedures. We're going over the chart of this Beagle Canal to Cape Horn and planning our stops while anchored in the dramatic Yendagaya Bay. This is the first community we've seen in 2 weeks, and we met a French cruising yacht there, the first boat that we'd seen in a long time. George, on the French aluminum cutter Metapassion, had cruised the area for 1.5 years and was eager to share with us his tips about his favorite anchorages and the local weather systems.
And so the bad weather arrive here, and the cloud get melt there, and then after this mountain are a bit lower and there is space, so that it's dilution of clouds.
Right.
You know?
So they pile up.
Yeah, they pile and it's raining and it's bad, and then it's cleared over, and then in Puerto William in winter time, clear sky. And
The Argentine border is on the opposite side of Yendagaya Bay, and each day we would be passed by several Argentinian and Chilean patrol boats. Puerto Williams, the southernmost town in the world, is a combination of Chilean Navy base and cattle ranch. Each morning we'd hear the gauchos as they went on their horseback past the boat, and some mornings they'd be driving a whole herd of cows. We spent 2 nights tied up alongside the McCalvey, a sunken Navy ship maintained as a yacht club and officers' club, waiting for a break in the weather. Years of preparation and dreams were coming together. At 5 o'clock one morning, we slipped our lines and quietly motored out into the glassy, flat, calm Beagle Canal.